it's Angel and welcome to Making Baby Taylor. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on my future videos. Today I'm going to talk to you about our family group costumes for this year, 2016. We dressed up as Frozen characters. Our kids were in store-bought costumes, but I did do DIY costumes for myself and my husband, so I'm going to talk all about how I made those. So I don't own a sewing machine and I don't really know how to use one either. So all of these things are technically no-sew, although I did do a little bit of hand sewing. More on that later. My daughter Kerrigan is 2 years old and she picked out her costume this year. We went to Target when they had a cartwheel for 40% off costumes just that day, and she saw the Princess Anna costume and she was so excited. She really wanted to be Princess Anna, so we got both the costume and the wig for 40% off, which was such a good deal. So I asked my son if he wanted to be Olaf. He was really excited. So I went on to Amazon and I found this adorable Olaf costume for only $7, and he just had so much fun being Olaf. He really loves Olaf the character, so it just really fit in with their personalities and their interests. So since they decided on those two costumes, that is what guided my husband and I on what we were going to dress up as. So I decided to make him a Kristoff costume. So how I did that was I went to Walmart. I found a inexpensive black t-shirt. I believe it was $3. I bought it about a size or two bigger than what he normally wears in t-shirts because Kristoff does wear a tunic. It's pretty long, it's pretty oversized, and I wanted to be able to cut a little bit off the length in the front to have that same kind of shape to it that Kristoff's has, and just have it kind of hit him in the right places. I knew if I got him his actual t-shirt size that it wouldn't work, especially since it needs to be worn over another shirt or sweater. So the first thing I did is I put the shirt on him and I kind of saw where I wanted it to hit him in the length of the sleeves, how far down I wanted to go in that v-neck, and I marked those with a crayon and then went back and cut those with scissors. Next, I bought some faux fur trim that I got at Joann's. It was really inexpensive. It was about $3 per package, but I ended up buying 3 of those. I also bought some stiffened felt so that I could build up that collar so it comes up high on the neck just like it does for Kristoff in the movie. Next, I bought some thin ribbon in burgundy and purple so that I could stylize the motif that he has with the ribbon along the neckline, the collar, and also along the shoulder seams. I used fabric glue to stick that on. I also used the same fabric glue to stick on most of the fur trim. I did that along the hem of the shirt. I did it on one of the sleeves, but that proved to be really difficult. So on the other sleeve, I hand sewed that on with the sewing kit that I had. I also hand sewed the fur trim to the collar because of the way it has to face outward. I wouldn't have been able to glue it on. And then I found this really wide burgundy ribbon. It was in the clearance section at Michael's, so it was about $2, and I just tied that around his waist so that it looked just like the sash that he wears. Lastly, I took a gray crayon and I made marks all over the shirt, kind of give it a little bit more texture and dimension, because in the movie, Kristoff's tunic, it looks to be made out of some animal skin or something, so that crayon kind of gave it that illusion of that texture and also kind of softened the color of it and make it so stark black. I purchased a blonde wig on eBay for him. It was around $6 or $7. Lastly, I found the black knit cap with pom-pom already on it at the Dollar Tree. He wore the tunic over a long sleeve charcoal gray shirt that he already owned, and he just paired it with some pants and some of his suede boots for me in the navy. And so it didn't look exactly screen accurate, obviously, but it still looked really good. I thought that he made a very convincing Kristoff, especially with that wig that just really made such a big difference. And lastly, I was Sven. A lot of people were like, wow, I can't believe you were Sven. I actually thought it was really fun to dress up as Sven. And I actually prefer to do A because it's really cold up here in Washington already. So I knew that an Elsa costume would not be warm enough. I also knew that I wouldn't really be able to DIY that very easily, and I didn't want to spend a bunch more money on yet another store-bought costume. So my first thought when I decided to dress up as Sven was that I could make it a little bit more fun and a little bit more girly if I made a tutu. So that's exactly what I did. I did the same technique as I did when I made the DIY toddler mermaid tutu for my daughter for her cake smash for her first birthday. I did make a video about how I made that, so I'm going to put the link to that in the description below, as well as in the card if you want to go check that out. Rather than using a crochet tube top, because obviously that wouldn't fit me, I bought a roll of that crochet headband material, and I kind of measured out the length that I wanted, add a little bit extra so that I could tie that on if I wanted to. Brown tulle was a little hard to come by locally, so I turned to eBay to buy those. I got 2 different shades of brown plus a beige, so I could give it a little bit more dimension, a little bit more interest. I held the tulle up to my leg to kind of see where I want it to hit. So I took that, folded it over, and cut it so that it would be the total length that I need. Then I used that as a template to go along as I pulled the tulle off the spool for each and every strip that I cut, so that all of the strips were all the same length. So just like before, I folded it over, took that folded over tulle and pushed it through the little hole in the crochet, and then I took the ends and pulled it through that little loop that it created until it turns into a knot. The other great thing about doing it this way is if you made a mistake, either you didn't pull the 2 sides equally and so one side ended up being way longer than the other, or if you just decided you wanted to change how the colors alternate or just move them around differently or whatever, it's really easy to just untie it and do it over again. You don't have to cut it or start all over or anything like that. So with this tutu, I want it to be a little bit more full, so I not only did 1 layer across the very bottom of the crochet, but I also did another one on the next level up so that it had a lot more fullness to it. I actually ended up needing a 3rd roll of the brown tulle. Luckily I found one that kind of worked. It was a very dark brown at Joann's, so I ended up buying that in the middle of making the tutu and bringing that home. That ended up being just enough for me to finish it. I found yet another clearance spool of ribbon at Michael's. I know it's not quite exactly the print that Sven has on his harness, but it was close enough, so I got that so I could tie that around my waist as well to kind of mimic that harness that he wears. I found a beige infinity scarf at Target for $5, so I wore that around my neck to kind of mimic that really full beige fur that he has along his neck and his chest. I found store-bought antlers from Walmart for about $3. I bought a yard of beige faux fur trim at Joann's with the coupon. It ended up coming out to about $3 and some change, and a yard was just enough for me to put it around each wrist and then cut it in half widthwise and put it around each ankle so that it would mimic how his beige fur comes down over his hooves. Lastly, I purchased a snowflake shaped ornament that I will also love to use on my Christmas tree later this year, but I found this ornament and I just used some of that purple ribbon from the Kristoff costume to tie it around my neck like the medallion at the end of the movie that Anna gives him that says Ice Master on it, that he's really proud of. I think that kind of tied it in a little bit more to make it a little more obvious of what character I was. I wore all this over a brown long sleeve hoodie shirt that I've had since my son was a newborn, and brown leggings that I got at Walmart for $3, and I think it just really pulled together really nice. I think especially us all together as a group, it just looked so cohesive. Our kids just really like dressing up together as a family. This is the 3rd year in a row that we've all dressed up in coordinating costumes. I hope next year that they'll still want to do it. We'll continue to do it every year for as long as they will let us, but for now it's a lot of fun. I especially like being able to do at least one of them DIY. Last year we were Wizard of Oz characters, and then I made our son's Munchkin costume, which was really cute, and he literally won costume contests with it, so that was a lot of fun. And the year before that we dressed up as Paw Patrol. All of them were DIY at least a little, and that one was a lot of fun. I made videos about both of those costumes, so I will also link those in the description and the cards if you want to go check those out as well. If you aren't subscribed to our family vlog called It's the Taylor Crew, the info for that is also in the description. You can go check that out so you'll be able to see the vlog from Halloween once I get that posted. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Bye!